So it has been a big week, guys. We've got a mixed bag of good news and bad news here today, but if you stick around, I have something really exciting for you at the end of this broadcast. It's not something I've ever done before, and I'm kind of nervous about it, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and get the bad news over with, I guess. Around 26.5 million low-income Americans reported that they either sometimes or often did not have enough food to eat between June 7th and June 19th of this year. That means that about 8% of Americans are going hungry. And meanwhile, the programs that are supposed to provide food are experiencing catastrophic delays. And in some cases, lawmakers are just refusing to help. SNAP benefits have been delayed for months in Georgia. Some families have had to wait days. Others have had to wait weeks or even months while the state sorts this out. In Pennsylvania, SNAP is running on time, but the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program is experiencing delays. According to the Newcastle News, a printing problem has stopped more than 2,000 eligible seniors in Lawrence County from being able to buy healthy food with those vouchers. The county hopes to send them out sometime in July, but they aren't sure. And in Montana, the state has decided that it's just too hard to send PEBT payments, so they aren't even going to try this year. According to the Montana Food Bank, that's going to leave about 73,000 kids at risk of increased hunger. Nationwide, college students are at risk of losing their food benefits as work requirements go back into effect. That's because able-bodied adults without dependents are expected to participate in work activities for at least 80 hours a month. And of course, that makes sense. But pursuing an education isn't considered a work activity for some reason. And that means that many full-time college students can't receive food benefits unless they have a job in addition to that. And many students have found that they can't maintain their grades while also working 20 hours a week and attending classes and all of this. And even if they do, the income they earn from that job can reduce their other benefits that support their education, like Pell Grants. So it's a mess. The Herchinger report found that the work requirements in programs like SNAP and TANF are perpetuating generational poverty by discouraging low-income students from pursuing higher education. Even though getting a degree is statistically shown to increase how much money you can make over your lifetime, it's not really a viable option if you can't eat to survive while you're going to school. As a result, some lawmakers are trying to change the work requirements for students. A group of 123 members of Congress are backing new legislation called the Enhanced Access to SNAP Act of 2023, or the EATS Act of 2023. This new act would permanently remove those work requirements for college students, ensuring that students could receive food assistance as long as they are pursuing an education. In the meantime, if you are experiencing hunger, please look for additional resources in your area. There are many programs that can help with food, including SNAP, WIC, SFMNP, FNMNP, the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, and more. There are double up programs for food benefits, food banks, soup kitchens, and other resources that can help you. You can even stretch your food budget by shopping at salvage stores or by using the Flash Food app. And you can always call 211 and ask what food resources are available in your area, or watch our other videos because we talk about food a lot on this channel. There is help out there, and please look for it. Sorry if you can hear my kids. They are really loud today. And now that we've talked about food, let's talk about housing. A recent study showed that more than half of California's homeless population is over the age of 50. This study, which was conducted by the University of California, found that older residents are being consistently priced out of the housing market and pushed onto the streets. This is not okay. This week, HUD announced that the cap on loans for the low-income housing tax credit program will be lifted, which is great, and it helps because it means that more money will be available to help developers build and renovate more low-income housing, and that's great. But that's a solution that takes time. So in the meantime, if you need help with housing or you're a homeless senior, please call the Area Agency on Aging's Elder Care Locator. The phone number is 800-677-1116. They should be able to help you find any resources that are available in your area. And finally, this is the last bad news I have for today, I'm pretty sure. You've probably already heard that the Supreme Court struck down President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan yesterday. If you have student loans, or if you are a parent or a grandparent who has signed for someone else's student loans, which shockingly happens a lot and puts a lot of low-income seniors at risk, then those payments are going to start again in October. According to President Biden's recent press conference, there will be a 12-month on-ramp, they call it an on-ramp repayment period, that will give borrowers protection from default. So you will be expected to make those payments, and interest will start accruing starting in October. However, if you cannot make those payments, or you cannot make them in full, the company who is collecting on those loans will not send you into default or send your file to a credit agency for at least 12 months. However, and this was not immediately clear in the press conference, it appears that missed payments could still negatively impact your payment history if you are already enrolled in and pursuing an income-driven repayment plan. Now, that being said, there are still many legitimate student loan relief programs out there that already exist. For example, my husband had $50,000 in student loan debt eliminated through the Total and Permanent Disability Discharge Program. There are options out there, and if you call the Student Aid Relief Line at 888-201-0431, they can help you navigate all of those options that are available to you. This line is run by our sponsor, CareConnect USA, and they are staffed by trained professionals who can help you navigate all the different ways that you can reduce your payment, defer your payments, or even get student loan forgiveness through one of the existing programs. And again, that number is 888-201-0431. Now, thankfully, there is some good news out there. I love good news, and if you like good news too, please make sure you stick around to the end of this video, because I have that really exciting announcement for you, and I think you're really going to like it. So, good news for right now, though. Veterans nationwide can breathe a little easier because Congress has passed the annual COLA bill. If you didn't know this, and I didn't know this until just today, every single year Congress gets to decide whether or not veterans will get a COLA increase on their benefits, COLA being cost of living adjustment, of course. Now, this is not something that happens automatically like it does for Social Security. Well, fortunately, that bill passed with bipartisan support, and President Biden signed it on June 14th. So at the end of this year, veterans will get their COLA increase equal to whatever is given to Social Security recipients. We don't know how much that increase will be yet, because those COLA rates usually aren't finalized until October 1st, and I will let you know as soon as I know. Now, the Biden-Harris administration has also launched a new program called the Persistent Poverty Initiative. The goal of this new program is to help improve cancer outcomes in low-income communities. There's a lot of really interesting information on this, but we're already running a little long on this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that on our website. You can grab the link for that below. And if you haven't already, you need to make sure that you claim your piece of the Google settlement by July 31st. Anyone who used Google search between October 25th, 2006 and September 13th, 2013 may be eligible for a settlement check. They're only going to be about $7 or $8 a person, but everything helps, right? So don't miss out on that. If you don't take action to either claim your check or exclude yourself from the settlement, you end up forfeiting your right to ever sue Google, and you won't be able to be compensated for it and all that stuff. So just go claim your check. All right. So now it's local news time, and I have some great local news updates for you today, including free homeownership assistance programs, low-income housing, free food, guaranteed income programs, and so much more. It actually took me a lot longer than usual to put all this together. There's so much in this update. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about something important that I've been seeing come up in the comments. I know some of you are very frustrated that I don't get to all the states every time, and there are two reasons why that we haven't addressed before. So one of the reasons why is because more and more news outlets are starting to put paywalls on their information. So that means I'm doing these searches, I'm digging for resources, I find something, I go to open it up, and instead of being able to read the article and find out what's going on so that I can tell you about it, I hit a paywall that says I have to give them money or they're not going to tell me anything. Now, when that happens, I do go and search for that same information on other websites. And when I can find it, I can incorporate it. But sometimes local papers are the only ways to get that information. And while I don't mind paying to subscribe to some of the bigger news sources that I use consistently, I can't possibly financially support every small newspaper in the country. It would break me really bad. So sometimes I just can't get to it, even though I try really hard. The other reason that sometimes I don't have information on every state is because I spend hours and hours and hours aggregating this information, but sometimes it's still really hard to get through everything I find. And to that end, I was talking to one of my friends this week, and she suggested that I try this. So we're going to try something new. I've set up a new email address at tips@lowincomerelief.com. This is a no reply email address. So you can't, we're not going to be able to respond to everybody who sends stuff in through here. But if you want to send any information that you find about low-income news or low-income programs in your area to tips@lowincomerelief.com, that will help us. I've got an assistant now who's going to help me, and we're going to go through those tips as we're preparing these videos, and hopefully it'll help that process go a little faster, and hopefully we'll be able to get more information for more areas around the country, which would be really great. So if you want to help with that, that'd be awesome. That is not the surprising update that I have for you at the end of this video, though. So don't leave yet. We're not done. So for our local news updates today, I'm just going to put all that information on the website since we're running so long and I still have this exciting thing I want to tell you about. So we do have, actually, we even have some nationwide updates today that I didn't have time to cover. You can find all of that at lowincomerelief.com/news or by following the link below. If you go to the /news address, you'll have to pick the one that has the picture that matches the thumbnail for this video and all that. Anyway, that article will have, nationwide news updates as well as updates for California, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nebraska, Nevada, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Texas. If you heard me get a little excited on some of those, it's because we don't always find updates for those areas, and those are some highly requested ones. So make sure you check that out, again, on our website at lowincomerelief.com. And now let's get into that exciting thing that I have been waiting to tell you this entire time. So I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you probably have, but a lot of the news we've been covering here at Low Income Relief lately is kind of depressing, right? There's a lot of bad news out there, and I don't enjoy it. I'm sure you don't enjoy it. So I wanted to do something a little different. So I'm generally a positive person. I like to focus on positive things. I like to try to be happy. So I want to talk more about good news. So I've started a second channel where I will be posting a video series that I'm going to call The Kindness Chronicles. This is going to be a weekly news update, kind of like we do here on Low Income Relief with the low income news, except on this other channel, we're only going to talk about good news. We're going to talk about acts of kindness that have been happening. We're going to talk about exciting new discoveries. We're going to talk about things that are peaceful and happy and non-controversial and uplifting, because I know I need more of that, and I think the entire world does too. So if you are not yet tired of the sound of my voice and you're willing to go on this new adventure with me, please follow the link in the description below and watch the first episode of The Kindness Chronicles on our new channel. It's going to start as soon as I wrap up this video. I'm just going to go live on the next one. So that's all the low income news I have for you this week. But if you want to follow me over to that new channel, I've got some really happy news for you there. I hope